You can't actually sink in quicksand, but it can still kill you. And that contradiction is where everything begins. Because the real danger isn't what pulls you down. It's what keeps you there. Picture this. You're walking across what looks like solid ground. One step feels normal. The next doesn't. Your foot drops. Then your leg. And suddenly, you're stuck. So what's happening? Why does the ground betray you without warning? It all starts with something deceptively simple. Sand. Millions, billions of tiny grains packed together. Normally, they lock into place, spreading your weight so you don't sink. But here's the strange part. Add water, just enough, and everything changes. The grains lose friction. The structure collapses. And what looked solid becomes something else entirely. Not quite liquid. Not quite solid. Something unstable. And that's when your body makes its first mistake. You react. You shift. You panic. What happens next changes everything. Because quicksand isn't just sand. It's a trap triggered by movement. The more you struggle, the more it gives way. The deeper you sink. But here's the twist. Even then, it won't swallow you whole. So if it can't fully pull you under, why do people still fear it? And more importantly, what actually happens if no one comes to help? At first, it doesn't feel deadly. Just uncomfortable. Heavy. Restricting. Your legs sink, but then they stop. Waist deep. Maybe less. So you think, this isn't so bad. You can just pull yourself out, right? But here's the strange part. You can't. Quicksand fights back. Every tiny movement you make pulls water away from the sand around you. That makes it thicker, denser, stronger. And suddenly, lifting your leg feels impossible. In fact, to pull your foot out slowly, you'd need force equal to lifting a small car. Think about that. You're not being dragged down anymore. You're being locked in place. And that's when panic sets in. You start struggling, twisting, thrashing. And this is where it gets weird. Quicksand is a non-Newtonian fluid, meaning the more force you apply, the more it resists you. So your desperate attempt to escape? It makes everything worse. You sink a little deeper. Not much, but enough. Enough to trap you. And then time becomes your real enemy. Because quicksand doesn't kill quickly. It waits. But that's not even the craziest part. The environment around you is what decides your fate. And depending on where you are, things can go from bad to terrifying. Now imagine you're not alone out there. Not in a desert, but near a coastline. Because that's where quicksand loves to form. Water seeps up from below, mixes with loose sand, and creates the perfect trap. So you're stuck, waist deep, exhausted, and then you hear it. Waves. At first, they're far away, harmless. But here's the strange part. The ocean doesn't stay still. Tides shift, slowly, quietly, and that's when things change. You might have hours, or less. Every minute you spend trapped, the water gets closer. You try to move faster, but the sand tightens its grip. Your energy drains. And this is where it gets terrifying. You're not sinking anymore, but the world around you is rising. The tide comes in, higher, closer, and suddenly, quicksand becomes something else entirely. A countdown. Because when the water reaches your chest, breathing becomes harder. When it reaches your neck, there's nowhere left to go. And that's the moment people get it wrong. Quicksand doesn't drown you. It holds you still, while something else does. But what if you knew exactly what to do? Would it be enough to survive? Or are you already too late? So what do you actually do? What's the one thing that could save your life? It sounds simple. Almost too simple. Don't panic. But here's the problem. Your instincts will fight you every second. Because everything in your body is screaming. Move. Escape. Now. And that's exactly what you shouldn't do. Instead, you lean back. It feels wrong. Like you're giving up. But this is where it gets weird. Leaning back spreads your weight. Creates space. Water seeps in around you. And the sand loosens its grip. You go from stuck to floating. Slowly. Carefully. You begin to move. Not up, but across. Tiny motions. Millimeter by millimeter. You free one leg, then the other. And it takes forever. Minutes feel like hours. Every movement drains you. But rushing will reset everything. And that's when most people fail. Because patience feels like death. But it's actually survival. If there's something nearby, a stick, a branch, you use it. Leverage becomes your advantage. And little by little, you escape. But even if you make it out, you're not the same. Because what happens to your body might stay with you forever. By the time you're free, your body has been through something brutal. Hours of pressure, restricted blood flow, crushing force around your limbs. And that leaves damage. Sometimes it's just pain. Severe. lingering. But here's the darker truth. In extreme cases, nerves can die, muscles can fail, and people have lost limbs. Not to sinking, but to being trapped. And that changes everything you thought you knew. Because quicksand isn't a dramatic, instant death. It's slow, silent, relentless. It doesn't chase you. It waits for you to make one wrong step. But here's the final twist. Most people who encounter quicksand survive. Not because it's harmless, but because understanding it changes the outcome. Stay calm. Move slow. Work with it, not against it. And you have a chance. But that leaves one question. If something that looks completely solid can suddenly turn into a trap beneath your feet, then how many other safe places are only safe until they're not?